Hello, beautiful damsels. The scariest monsters are the ones who walk among us, calm, quiet, and utterly unreadable. Some people dominate a room with noise, but Sigma females, they dominate with silence, unpredictability, and an eerie sense of control. They don't seek attention, yet all eyes are on them. They don't demand respect, yet people tread carefully around them. And the most unsettling part? They have no idea how frightening they truly are. Psychologists say that unpredictability triggers fear more than outright aggression. Our brains are wired to be wary of what we can't predict or control, which is why Sigma females send shivers down people's spines without even trying. But let's be real. It's not like they're lurking in dark corners, plotting world domination. They're just out here minding their own business, drinking coffee, and unintentionally making people sweat. So what exactly makes Sigma females so quietly intimidating? Here are 10 chilling things they do without realizing it. Prepare yourself. You might never look at them the same way again. Number 1. They attract obsession, not love. Sigma. Females don't just attract admirers, they create obsessions. Their energy is different, something people can't quite put their finger on, and that's exactly what makes them so addictive. It's not just about looks or charm, it's the way they carry themselves, completely detached, completely unbothered. That quiet confidence, that unwillingness to seek approval makes people crave their validation even more. The unsettling part? Most Sigma females have no idea they're doing it. They aren't playing hard to get. They aren't using mind games. They simply exist in a way that forces people to chase them. The more unavailable they seem, the deeper people fall. It's a twisted paradox. People crave what they can't have, and Sigma females never give too much of themselves away. Unlike others who thrive on constant attention, they don't feed into emotional dependency. They don't check in, they don't give unnecessary reassurances, and they certainly don't stroke egos. This absence of neediness makes people spiral, questioning their worth, trying harder to prove they matter. It's not love, it's obsession, and it can turn dangerous. Some people can't handle mystery. They can't handle not knowing what someone is thinking, not having control, not getting the responses they expect. And when a Sigma female remains unreadable, it eats at them. They analyze every interaction, overthink every silence, misinterpret every action as some kind of test. Before they know it, they're trapped in a cycle of chasing someone who never asked to be chased in the first place. This is why Sigma females often find themselves dealing with intense, sometimes unsettling attachments. They don't create connections the way others do. They don't follow the typical patterns of affection. And when people realize they can't fully possess them, they either respect the space or lose their grip trying to get closer. Either way, Sigma females remain exactly who they are, unaffected, independent, and always just out of reach. Number 2. They can adapt and reinvent themselves without effort. Sigma females don't cling to past identities, old labels, or outdated versions of themselves. They evolve quietly, seamlessly, and without hesitation. While others fear change, overanalyze their next move, or hesitate at the thought of reinvention, Sigma females step into new phases of life as if they were meant to be there all along. There's no dramatic announcement, no desperate attempt to prove anything. Just a natural, almost eerie ability to shift when the time is right. This adaptability makes them nearly impossible to pin down. Just when people think they've figured them out, they move differently. Their mindset shifts. Their energy changes. They walk away from jobs, relationships, and environments that no longer serve them without looking back. And it's not coldness, it's survival. They understand that clinging to a version of themselves that no longer fits is the fastest way to stagnation, and Sigma females don't do stagnation. What's even more unsettling is that they don't seek validation for these transformations. There's no need for applause or approval. While others might struggle with identity crises or fear judgment, Sigma females trust their own instincts. One day they might be fully invested in a particular lifestyle, career, or passion, and the next they've pivoted entirely, without a trace of hesitation. This unpredictability keeps people on edge. It's human nature to categorize others, to put them in neat little boxes, but Sigma females defy categorization at every turn. Their ability to adapt isn't just about external changes. It's psychological, emotional, and even spiritual. They can reset their mindset, let go of emotional baggage, and reframe failures as stepping stones. To them, reinvention isn't an act of desperation. It's an act of power. And those who can't keep up, they simply get left behind, wondering how a Sigma female transformed overnight while they're still struggling to take the first step. Number 3. They're unpredictable in a way that unsettles everyone. Sigma females are a paradox. One moment, they're engaged, insightful, and intensely present. The next, they withdraw without warning, leaving people questioning what just happened. This unpredictability isn't a game or a tactic. It's simply how they function. They don't force connection. They don't pretend to be interested when they're not. And they certainly don't engage in mindless small talk just to fill the silence. When they're in the mood for deep conversations, they can be the most captivating presence in the room. But when their energy shifts, they disappear, mentally, emotionally, or even physically, without offering an explanation. This unpredictability keeps people on edge. Most are used to patterns, to consistency in behavior, but Sigma females don't operate on anyone's expectations. They don't feel the need to maintain a steady level of interaction just to keep others comfortable. And because they don't explain their emotional shifts, people are left analyzing, overthinking, and sometimes even panicking. Did they say something wrong? Did the Sigma female lose interest? Was it something they did? The truth is usually far simpler. Sigma females engage when they want to, and when they're done, they're done. This ability to detach so effortlessly makes them unnerving. People can't figure out if they're being tested, ignored, or if they simply no longer matter. The reality? Sigma females don't believe in forced energy. If a conversation no longer interests them, if a person drains them, or if they just need solitude, they'll disconnect. Without drama, without confrontation, and without caring how it's perceived. For those used to constant reassurance and emotional predictability, dealing with a Sigma female can feel like standing on unstable ground. One day, they're exchanging profound thoughts. The next, they've retreated into their own world, unreachable and unconcerned. It's not rudeness, it's not a manipulation tactic, it's just how they are. And that alone is enough to unsettle anyone who craves consistency. Number 4. They don't seek revenge. They let karma do the work. Sigma females don't waste energy on revenge. They don't plot, they don't scheme, and they don't engage in petty mind games. Instead, they do something far more unnerving. They walk away and let the universe handle the rest. There's no emotional outburst, no dramatic confrontation. They simply remove themselves from the equation, and that alone is enough to send chills down someone's spine. Their silence is what gets people. When someone wrongs a Sigma female, they don't react the way others expect. They don't beg for explanations, seek closure, or try to prove a point. They just disappear, leaving the other person drowning in their own guilt, paranoia, or regret. And that's the real punishment. Because while Sigma females move on effortlessly, the ones who betrayed them are left wondering when, or if, the consequences will come. This eerie patience is what makes them so unsettling. People are used to immediate reactions. They expect anger, retaliation, or at the very least some kind of emotional response. But when a Sigma female simply nods, walks away, and continues thriving, that's terrifying. It makes people overthink, panic, and sometimes even self-destruct in anticipation of some unseen reckoning. And here's the kicker. Sigma females don't even have to lift a finger for karma to strike. Because they never waste time on revenge, they invest that energy into themselves instead. They grow, they evolve, and they succeed in ways that make their enemies irrelevant. Meanwhile, the ones who wronged them often find their own downfall, whether through guilt, bad decisions, or simply the natural consequences of their actions. There's nothing more unsettling than someone who doesn't seek revenge, because it means they don't see their enemy as a real threat. And that quiet confidence? That's what keeps people up at night, wondering when or if their actions will come back to haunt them. Number 5. They don't sugarcoat, ever. Sigma females don't do fake niceties, and they certainly don't water down the truth to make it more digestible. When they speak, it's raw, unfiltered, and sometimes brutal. Not because they're trying to be mean, but because they see no point in unnecessary sugarcoating. They say what needs to be said exactly as it is, without dressing it up with fluff or emotional cushioning, and for people who aren't used to that level of honesty, it can feel like a slap in the face. Most people live in a world of polite half-truths, where words are carefully chosen to avoid discomfort. But Sigma females have no interest in playing along. If you ask for their opinion, be prepared to hear the real answer, not the one you were hoping for. If you make a mistake, they'll call it out. If your behavior is self-destructive, they won't tiptoe around it. They won't twist words to protect fragile egos, and they certainly won't pretend to agree just to keep the peace. This kind of bluntness unsettles people because it strips away illusions. It forces them to face things they'd rather ignore. And the most disturbing part, Sigma females don't deliver their words with anger or cruelty. They're not yelling, insulting, or trying to tear anyone down. They're simply stating facts as they see them, with a level of detached honesty that makes it even harder to brush off. Some appreciate this level of directness. They respect it, even if it stings. But others take it personally, mistaking brutal honesty for coldness. They walk away from conversations with Sigma females feeling exposed, uncomfortable, or questioning themselves in ways they never have before. And that's exactly why their words hold so much power. They don't just tell the truth, they force people to confront it. And once you hear the truth from a Sigma female, you can't unhear it. Number 6. They make loyalty a test. Few pass. Sigma females don't believe in blind loyalty. To them, trust isn't something that's given freely. It's earned, tested, and proven over time. While most people hand out loyalty based on familiarity, shared experiences, or even social pressure, Sigma females operate on a completely different level. They don't care about how long they've known someone, or how close they should be. If a person hasn't proven themselves, they remain on the outside, no exceptions. This makes them incredibly difficult to get close to. They don't open up easily, they don't rush into friendships, and they certainly don't trust just because someone says they should. Every interaction is quietly analyzed. Every inconsistency is noted. People may not realize it, but Sigma females are constantly watching, testing, and evaluating. They might engage. They might even seem friendly. But that doesn't mean someone has earned a place in their world. The most unsettling part? They don't announce the test. There's no warning, no checklist, no clear indication of what will make or break someone's chances. People will think they're getting close, only to realize they're still being held at a distance. This creates a sense of desperation. Why won't she let me in? That can drive some to extreme efforts to prove their worth. But trying too hard, that's another red flag. Sigma females don't trust forced loyalty. They trust consistency, integrity, and actions that align with words. Because their standards are so high, very few ever make it into their inner circle. And once someone fails the test, there are no second chances. There's no dramatic fallout, no confrontation, just quiet removal. A Sigma female will simply stop engaging, and before the person even realizes it, they've been locked out for good. For those who do pass, they gain something rare, a loyalty that is unshakable, unwavering, and almost impossible to lose. But for the rest, they're left standing outside, wondering what they could have done differently. Number 7. They can walk into any room and shift the energy. Sigma females don't need to be loud to be noticed. They don't demand attention, yet somehow the moment they step into a room, the atmosphere shifts. People sense them before they even speak. It's not arrogance and it's not an act. It's an unshakable presence, a quiet confidence that unsettles some and intrigues others. Unlike those who crave the spotlight, Sigma females don't perform for anyone. They aren't trying to impress, charm, or dominate conversations. In fact, they often observe more than they speak, and that alone makes people hyper-aware of them. There's something about their stillness, their unreadable expressions, that makes others either want to impress them or avoid them completely. Some feel an immediate pull, sensing depth and mystery. Others feel uneasy, not knowing how to categorize someone who refuses to play by normal social rules. What's even more unnerving is that Sigma females don't shift the energy in an obvious way. There's no forced charisma, no exaggerated confidence, just an aura of self-assurance that makes people take notice. They can make a room feel warmer with their presence, or they can make it feel like a place you suddenly want to leave. It all depends on the energy they choose to bring. And because they don't fake emotions or force interactions, their energy is always genuine, whether it's inviting or ice cold. This ability to shift a room without effort is what makes them so unpredictable. People don't know what to expect from them, and that alone creates tension. Some try to break the silence, desperate to get a reaction. Others watch from a distance, unsure if they should engage. But one thing is always true. When a Sigma female is in the room, people feel it. Whether it's fascination, intimidation, or something in between, their presence lingers long after they've left. Number 8. They have an unsettling level of self-control. Sigma females don't flinch. No matter the situation, no matter how chaotic things get, they remain composed. While others raise their voices, over-explain, or lash out in frustration, Sigma females do the opposite. They go quiet. They observe. They calculate. They refuse to let emotions dictate their actions. And that kind of control? It's unsettling to those who lack it. Most people expect a reaction. They thrive on emotional exchanges, on seeing visible signs of anger, hurt, or frustration. It makes them feel in control, knowing they've triggered a response. But with a Sigma female, they get nothing. A blank expression, a calm demeanor, maybe a slight smirk. But never the emotional outburst they were hoping for, and that alone can drive people crazy. It's not that Sigma females don't feel emotions, they just don't let emotions control them. They don't break down in front of others, they don't engage in petty arguments. If someone tries to provoke them, they won't take the bait. And when they're wronged, they don't explode, they simply withdraw, making their absence feel like a punishment all on its own. This level of self-control makes them unpredictable, and unpredictability makes people nervous. They can't be manipulated, guilt-tripped, or pushed into impulsive decisions. While others act on impulse, a Sigma female takes her time, choosing every word and action with precision. That's why they rarely regret their choices. They never let temporary emotions dictate permanent outcomes. And here's what truly unsettles people. The more someone tries to shake them, the calmer they become. The more chaos surrounds them, the more detached they seem. This isn't an act of suppression, it's power. A power that makes those who lack control feel exposed, weak, and outmatched. Because deep down they know, the one who stays calm always holds the real power. Number 9. They trigger insecurities without trying. Sigma females don't seek approval, and that alone makes people uneasy. In a world where most measure their worth through validation, likes, compliments, attention, Sigma females move differently. They don't play the game. They don't seek permission to be who they are. And because they refuse to follow social scripts, they unintentionally force others to question their own confidence. Most people are used to a certain rhythm in interactions, seeking approval, offering it in return, feeding into each other's need for validation. But Sigma females don't participate in this cycle. They don't give empty compliments. They don't fish for them. And they don't feel the need to prove anything. This creates a silent discomfort, a sense of imbalance that people can't quite explain. Why isn't she trying to impress anyone? Why doesn't she care what people think? That level of self-containment makes others hyper-aware of their own insecurities. Even in social settings, Sigma females stand apart, not in an attention-seeking way, but in a way that makes people notice. They don't force themselves into conversations just to be included. They don't overshare to fill silences. They don't mold their personalities to fit expectations. And that quiet confidence can be unnerving, especially to those who rely on external validation to feel secure. People often find themselves overcompensating around a Sigma female, talking too much, trying too hard, seeking reactions. They crave a sign of approval from her, but when they don't get it, self-doubt creeps in. Was I boring? Did I say something wrong? Why do I feel like I'm the one being observed? The irony is, Sigma females aren't trying to trigger these feelings. They're simply existing in a way that highlights what others lack. Those who are secure in themselves respect it. Those who aren't, They feel unsettled, exposed, and sometimes even resentful. Not because a Sigma female did anything to them, but because, in her presence, they can't ignore the parts of themselves they still haven't figured out. Number 10. They make people feel replaceable. Sigma females don't do attachment the way most people do. They value connections, but they don't need them, and that alone makes people uneasy. While others build relationships on dependence, whether emotional, social, or financial, Sigma females operate with complete autonomy. No one is their lifeline, their crutch, or their emotional anchor. They choose people, but they never need them. And that's terrifying for those who are used to being irreplaceable. Even those closest to a Sigma female can feel the unsettling truth. If she had to, she'd walk away without hesitation. There wouldn't be endless explanations, desperate pleas, or drawn-out goodbyes. Just a quiet, absolute decision. This isn't because they're cold or heartless. It's because they don't believe in clinging to anything that no longer fits. Whether it's a friendship, a relationship, or even a long-term partnership. If someone starts draining their energy, betrays their trust, or simply no longer aligns with them, they're gone. This ability to detach is what makes people desperate to prove their worth. When someone realizes they are not a necessity in a Sigma female's life, they often start overcompensating, trying harder, seeking reassurance, or even testing boundaries just to see if they matter. But this only pushes Sigma females further away. Neediness repels them. Clinginess suffocates them. They respect strong, independent individuals, not those who try to secure their place through emotional dependency. And here's what truly shakes people. Sigma females never threaten to leave. There's no warning, no manipulation, no dramatic displays. If they decide to cut ties, they do it silently, efficiently, and permanently. People wake up one day and realize the Sigma female has simply moved on, without a scene, without resentment, without looking back. For those who understand them, this is admirable. For those who rely on validation, emotional security, or control, it's a nightmare. Because deep down, they realize a Sigma female will never hold on to someone out of fear of being alone. But others will hold on to her, afraid of what it feels like to be left behind. Number 11. They see through fake personas instantly. Most people can fake their way through life, putting on masks, playing roles, and saying all the right things to fit in. But with Sigma females, that doesn't work. They see through the act instantly. Lies, manipulation, and facades don't stand a chance because Sigma females dissect people with unsettling accuracy. They read between the lines, catch the inconsistencies, and sense the hidden motives that others overlook. What makes this so terrifying is that they don't even have to try. While others get distracted by charm, flattery, or well-rehearsed words, Sigma females focus on patterns. Body language, tone shifts, micro-expressions. They notice the little things that betray a person's true intentions. A forced smile, a slight hesitation, a contradiction in someone's story, nothing gets past them. And once they've spotted a lie or a performance, there's no going back. They'll never see that person the same way again. People who rely on manipulation or deception feel especially uncomfortable around Sigma females. They sense that something is different, that their usual tricks aren't working. It's like trying to fool a human lie detector. Some become anxious, some try even harder to win them over, and others feel outright threatened. But it never works. Sigma females won't call them out in a dramatic way. They won't waste time arguing. They'll just mentally file that person under untrustworthy and slowly detach. And that's what truly unsettles people. Sigma females don't expose fakes. They just stop engaging with them. No second chances, no warnings, just quiet, effortless removal. One day, the manipulator will realize the Sigma female isn't reacting, isn't playing along, and isn't giving them what they want. And that's when the panic sets in, because deep down, they know. When someone sees you for who you truly are, you lose all power over them. And a Sigma female, she sees everything. Sigma females aren't frightening because they try to be. They're frightening because they are something most people don't know how to handle. They move through life with an eerie level of self-sufficiency, emotional control, and unshakable confidence that makes others question themselves. They don't seek validation, they don't beg for loyalty, and they don't cling to relationships out of fear. Instead, they operate by their own rules, making them unpredictable, elusive, and often intimidating to those who rely on social norms to navigate the world. What unsettles people most is the realization that Sigma females don't need anyone to complete them. Their presence shifts the energy in a room, their honesty forces people to confront uncomfortable truths, and their ability to detach leaves even the most secure individuals questioning their importance. They don't engage in unnecessary drama, they don't seek revenge, and they don't react the way people expect. And that quiet, controlled power, that's what keeps people on edge. But here's the real truth. Sigma females aren't trying to be feared. They're simply being themselves. It's not their fault that society is built on approval-seeking, forced connections, and emotional dependency. They refuse to play along, and that refusal alone makes them a mystery people can't crack. Some will admire them, some will resent them, some will desperately try to earn their approval. But in the end, the Sigma female remains untouched by it all, choosing only what serves her, letting go of what doesn't, and walking away from anything that tries to cage her in. And that is what makes them truly terrifying. If this breakdown gave you chills, made you rethink everything, or just confirmed what you already knew about Sigma females, then you know this is just the beginning. There's so much more to uncover. So if you want more deep dives into the minds of the most intriguing personalities out there, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Like this video, drop a comment below, and let's hear your thoughts. Are Sigma females misunderstood, or are they really as intimidating as they seem? And of course, share this with someone who needs to see it. Whether they're a Sigma themselves or just struggling to figure one out, this might be exactly what they need. Stay tuned, because we're just getting started.